Hello, my name is Tracy Ford. Welcome to the Tracy Ford channel. I am putting up a very special episode today, and it's called The Gift. And I'm doing this for two reasons. The first reason is I want to explain the types of readings that I do. That way, if you decide that you want to schedule a reading, you know exactly what I specialize in. The second reason is that I think it's important to understand that when we come out of our spiritual closet, so to speak, we are going to be in the direct line of fire for skepticism. And that is an occupational hazard. It comes with the job. But what I will tell you is it doesn't make it hurt any less when someone defames you. So first, let's talk about the services that I offer. And I actually did this in a previous video, but I wanted to be a little bit more specific because the one thing that people always want to know is what's going to happen to me? What's my future look like? The problem with future readings is the future is always changing. It's always morphing. It's always evolving, and it's 100% dependent upon free will and decisions. So if I was to sit down and have a psychological reading with someone or a psychic reading with someone, and I can see pieces of their future, it's likely to change based on the decisions they make as well as the decisions that other people make that impact their lives. So my specialty is in past life readings. I do spirit animal consultation as well as past life spirits and spirit guides, but I'm also a medium. This is stuff that I did not ask for. It's what I was born with. I cannot change who I am. If you watch any of the past episodes that I've ever put up on YouTube, you will quickly understand that I did not ask for any of this. When I came out and finally realized in 2012 that I had various different spiritual gifts, they have grown, but it's not of my own doing. It's just like everything else. You have to practice it to get better. So I have consciously engaged in practicing different spiritual rituals, different exercises that make me stronger. And in being willing to open up to those things, I have opened up basically the gym and engaged in spiritual weightlifting, I guess. So I didn't choose this. It chose me. And I can't help who I am. Now, I don't go around like pushing off readings on people. But I have been reading people for years, and I've not been, asking for anything in return. And I had a few friends of mine sit me down and say, look, you need to think about what you're doing here, because this is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be doing readings for 6 and 12 hours without any kind of compensation. So it would be the same as someone going to a hairstylist or someone going to the doctor. You are going to have to pay for those services. And it's the same with a reader. You are going to rarely go to a psychic reader that doesn't expect some kind of compensation. Now, the other thing that we do is we do trades. And if you have a gift, for example, if you have a friend that does past life readings through tarot, and you want to exchange with them, that's totally up to you. You absolutely are encouraged to trade gifts. I don't charge my very, very close friends for a reading, but people that I absolutely do not know, I absolutely charge them because I have to learn the importance of compensation, and that's okay. So again, I do past life readings, and I introduce you to your spirit animals if they come through, and I introduce people to their spirit guides if they come through. I introduce them to deities if it so calls for, which means if you are unsure as to who you should be praying to or what you should be doing. Sometimes in a reading, I'll have a deity that pops through, and I'll be able to introduce that person to that deity and kind of help them figure out how they need to connect with that deity. So the other prong of this particular YouTube episode is when you decide, and every one of you are gifted, but when you decide that you're going to go public with that gift, you absolutely can expect people to defame you. Does that mean that it's going to hurt less? No, it's actually going to hurt more, especially because you stepped out in faith and know that you're being drawn to do something to help people, and then someone slices your throat. That doesn't feel good on any level. And I don't care how spiritual you are. I don't care how grounded you are. I don't care how bright your soul is. When someone has the audacity to harm you and to defame you and to discredit you, it hurts. But here's what you shouldn't do. And I've learned this within the past 24 hours. Don't take it personal, because it's not a you problem. It's a them problem. But they make themselves the target, not you. Because when they can say in one breath that they believe everything that you said, and then say in another breath that you're a fraud, that doesn't make a lot of sense to anyone that's listening to that conversation. But as the target of that type of I don't want to say abuse, because it does feel like abuse, but it's just pure gossip. As a target of that, it still hurts. But as someone who believes in the power of spirituality and the power of reckoning, sometimes you just have to hand it over to your people. And when I say your people, I mean the entourage of guides and angels and your deities that you have that are in your life. Let them handle that. That is stuff you don't need to get your hands dirty with. You have enough on your plate trying to learn who you are, trying to connect with your past lives, trying to commune with people, ancestors, the dead, whatever you want to say. You are on a spiritual path too, and you're trying to tick off that bucket list that you have of things that you want to get accomplished in your life. So why would you get your hands dirty dealing with gossip and garbage? You wouldn't, and your spirit guides wouldn't even want that for you. So if you are a budding mystic and you know that you have gifts that are there to share, don't allow the negativity to silence that, because you are going to change someone's life. You are going to change the way they think about things. You are going to open their eyes to things that they have never considered and things that they've never even seen. Be very careful and be very mindful, because you can feel if you're really good with discernment. And when I read this person, it was against my better judgment, and it was a free reading, but it was against my better judgment. Something just kept saying, no, 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 don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I thought, no, I want to help someone. I want to help this person. And in doing so, I left myself vulnerable. But the great thing is, your guides and your gods and your goddesses can see your heart. And when your heart is pure and your motives are pure, and that person that you read for decides that they're going to abuse that graciousness and that kindness, you had better believe that they will pay a price somehow. You may not know how, you may not want them to even pay, but karma is real. And if you are a Wiccan or a eclectic Wiccan, where you practice paganism as well as Christianity and other things, you know that the rule of three is extremely true. That means whatever you put out in the universe, it will come back on you threefold, whether that's good or bad, positive or negative. So if you are running your mouth about someone who gave something to you, a gift, you can expect that to be visited back on you threefold. The catch is if you have mouthed about someone that is an avid user of the craft, that's kind of scary. That's why it's very important to weigh your words and to be mindful of your thoughts, because they can be your worst enemy at times. So the conclusion and the moral of the story is, I have a gift. I have several gifts, and I don't go around flaunting them. But when someone comes to me for help, I can't help it. I have to help them. And I've learned my lesson. I need to be more cognizant of their intentions and be able to listen to my guides. That's a lesson I am failing at, is listening, just simply listening to what my guides are telling me. They have never led me wrong. Even when I thought I was face down in the water drowning, they've never left me for dead. They've always pulled me back from the brink. And I trust them, but they're teaching me a lesson. They're teaching me to listen. And I failed that lesson quite a few times in the last month. And that's okay, because they're great about making up the difference and realizing that we're weak and that we were really, really stubborn and that we don't do very well on our own. But they're also teaching other people lessons. And one of those lessons is shut your mouth. When you don't understand something, you don't need to say something. I want to encourage you that if you have a gift, don't let the naysayers kill it. Embrace it. Embrace who you are. You're beautiful. Be beautiful. And don't let anybody taint that. And when it's time to take out the garbage, let your higher power and your deities and your angels and your spirit guides do the dirty work, because that's what they're there for, is to clean up the messes so that you can go about helping people instead of honing in on the negative energy that's left behind by gossip and by hate. So with that, I hope this makes sense to someone out there. I'm basically doing this as a catharsis, because I'm not going to lie, I'm bleeding. Like, when I found out what happened and that there was someone that had defamed me, it hurts. It hurts so bad, especially when your heart is pure and you just want to help somebody. And it was a free reading. It wasn't like I got anything out of it. So, lesson learned. It's time to listen. It's time to look at instincts and pay attention to those. And it's time to be mindful of the people that want to take your energy. Love and light to you. Hopefully this makes sense to somebody out there. If you want to leave comments, please feel free. I am open to discussing it. I'm open to helping you in any way possible. If you are an electronic viewer and you need an electronic reading, I can give readings that way. If you're unsure of my gifts, go on my page and look at my reviews, because they speak for themselves. If you're local, there is another event coming up in February. You are welcome to attend. If you want to make an appointment, you would have to get a hold of Enchanted Crystals in Chillicothe to do that. Love and light to you. Blessed be. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next week with a new episode from the Mystic series regarding spirit animals.